Hey guys, uh, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I wanted to start a PHP series, PHP crash course on my channel because I feel like PHP doesn't get enough credit and it's still a good language to learn. It may not be at the forefront, but it's still a solid language that I use on a regular basis in my job as a developer. And sorry, it's still a viable language. Everybody talks about React and Node and all that stuff, and those are great by all means. But PHP is still something that if you enjoy it and if you work with it well, like I feel I do, you can still get a job. Certainly, WordPress is still one of the major. PHP is still a very viable language, and like I said, uh, WordPress, which runs pretty much entirely on PHP, is still one of the most popular website building platforms out there. So it's certainly something worth learning. Anyway, so as you can see on our screen, we have Google search for XAMPP, which is a PHP Apache server simulator or whatever. It's for your local machine, meaning your computer. So you download it and you can run PHP just like it would if you hosted it on a live server like GoDaddy or Bluehost or something like that. So I just typed in XAMPP um, into my Google search, and then you go to the first one, and then you go through the download process, and it's a standard download install thing. If you are on Mac, there is I think it's MAMP, and you do the same thing, and it works very similar. You'll see a lot of the same options. Anyway, once you have that installed, what you're going to see is when you come to your window here, you go to your local disk, and it's going to be right here, XAMPP. It automatically puts a folder in there for you, and then these are all the things that go along with it that sort of control it, but we're not going to get into that. This is just a PHP crash course of basics. So the folder we want is our HT docs. We're going to click in there, and then we are going to create a new folder. This is to get you started as soon as it comes up. And we're going to type test, or we'll do whatever, it doesn't matter. PHP crash. Okay, I guess maybe that's not a great term for a thing, but anyway. And then I am using Atom Text Editor, which is perfectly fine for PHP. I'm going to come up here and add my new project folder. It's going to open up. I'm going to come to my local disk and go to XAMPP and htdocs again and pick my folder and open it up. I'm going to get a little bit into things here. I'm going to break this video up into parts. I believe there's going to be 6 parts, so this video will be one of 6. I didn't want to cram it all into one video in case there was somebody who wanted to have like a sort of uh, just a quick refresher of like one subject or like one group of subjects. I'm going to try to group things together that sort of go together, like data types, strings, numbers, and constants and operators. They all kind of operate together, or like if-else statements and switch statements. They kind of go together a little bit. So this will be one of, I think, 6 videos for my PHP crash course. Anyway, so we have this here. So we're going to add a new file. We're just going to call it index.php so that when we go to this extension in our browser, uh, it'll automatically load this file. So let's do that. So we're going to go here, and let me just reduce this up a little bit so you guys can see. Yeah. Excuse me. Okay. So we're going to, in order to, so this, oh, geez. So we're going to see that real quick. So one thing we got to do is you open XAMPP and you come here. Here's your Apache server. Here's your MySQL database. You just click start and start, and then it runs for you. It takes a few seconds. Minimize that, and then now we get to come up here. As soon as I can, let's just do another window. And we do local host slash php underscore crash, which is the name of our folder. And then we're there. So, and obviously there's nothing in there because we haven't typed anything yet. But however, uh, we can do that and I can show you. So for syntax for PHP, it's pretty simple and you get used to it, which I know is a lot of times what people say they don't like about PHP is the syntax, but every language, either you jive with it or you don't. I happen to like PHP and I'm fine with the syntax. Something like handlebars is like a really weird, or not handlebars. What's the other one? What's the other thing for React? Um, I don't know, but there's like a less than sign and a percentage sign or whatever. I forget which uh, view engine it is, but anyway. So here we're looking at, so this is our basic file. So you can put, it's got to be a .php, index.php. It can't be .html and then put a PHP in there. It's got to be .php. But in PHP, you can put HTML. So I'm going to hit tab HTML in Atom, and that gives me a boilerplate. And it's going to do PHP test, whatever. And either PHP can go up here. So the syntax to open PHP is a less than sign, a question mark, PHP, and then a closing. Adam sort of filled it in for me. A closing question mark and a closing uh, greater than sign. And then we can type PHP in here like echo hello world and close off with a semicolon. I know the new versions of JavaScript, you don't have to use semicolons with everything, but in PHP you do. So we come over here and we refresh and we get our hello world message. Now, uh, that's one option, is to put it above the HTML inside of PHP opening and closing tags, or we can come here and put an H1, okay, and then we can put our PHP again, save all, come here and refresh, and then it gives us an H1 with this PHP. So those are the two ways. Let's see. I'll get into something real quick, which is how to put comments in PHP. Basically, it's just two slashes. Similar to, well, actually, I guess the same as JavaScript. Anyway, so here we go. So this is a comment, and it's not right now. So if you try to run this, it would sort of mess up. It would give you an error. So we highlight it and you hit control slash and it turns it into a comment. Or just simply type two slashes and then you can type, whatever you want. And that's how we make comments in our PHP. That's for our syntax. And then, everything's working again. Okay, so that's it. So that's how you get started with PHP. Now in here, you can create all types of um, file structures and everything, but we'll get into that as we move on. So that's it, and that's how you get started with PHP. In the next video, we're going to be tackling variables, how to store information, the echo and print function, which I just showed you echo, so print is very similar. Data types, primitive data types for PHP, which include strings, numbers, booleans, true or false, and then arrays and objects are technically data types, but they're a little bit more complex. But we'll get into them towards the end of the videos. Anyway, um, Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. See you next time.